Hey guys, it's Sazok here, and today we're going to be doing something different. Uh, if you didn't know already, I love building PCs. It's one of my favorite things to do. And a client here asked me to build an Intel NUC. So I think this is the Ghost Canyon NUC. It's basically, I don't know much about it. I've never built a NUC before, but it's pretty easy. It's got the Intel Core i7. So we're also going to be using a piece of Crucial, that's 1TB M.2 from Crucial, and a HyperX Impact DDR4 32GB kit, but the other stick actually was broken from thing. I've already pre-assembled this and taken it back apart. So we're only going to be using one stick of 16GB of RAM, and we're going to be testing it on one stick of 16GB of RAM. What I've heard is the 16GB do perfectly fine anyway. So I've already unboxed the whole thing, so not everything's here. We've got the Skull Canyon NUC. It's a bit dirty. I'll give it a bit of a clean off. So this is the top of the NUC. It's pretty nice. This, I'll grab a DVD, just a normal one sitting around. That's for size comparison. A normal, like, full-size DVD. It's actually a bit bigger, the DVD, just not long lengthways, just normal ways. So put that back. Now, a nice thing Intel does do is they include a front plate, without the skull. So if you don't like the skull on your PC, you can switch it out for without a skull. I'd say the skull fits into the design, but that one looks more clean. I'd purposely go with that one. Although the client has asked to keep the skull on the PC. So basically what you want to do is you want to flip it upside down, and there will be 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've already taken this one out. Peel them off. And it comes off quick and easy like that. So that's the back plate. It used to have a little front sticker there, but I think that's already wiped off. We don't worry about that. And this is the inside of the PC. This is my hand for scale. Pretty old. I could fit my whole hand around this. I could put this in my pocket and carry it around places. So it's a pretty portable PC, and from what I've heard, it's got really good specs. We'll be testing that today. Yeah, basically, first thing I'm going to put in is an M.2. We've got our M.2 here. The way to install this is you grab it and you put it in on an angle to here. Give it a bit of force. Now once it's fully in, push it down and screw it in. Screw it in right there. Now I'm going to have to put you down for this. This is a pretty junk video for the first video, but I'm going to put you down since I don't have a stand yet. It's still coming in the mail. There we go. We got the screw down. Now that should be nice and firm. No flex. Now what you want to do is you want to grab the RAM. I've brought over the other stick here. This is the broken stick. Came broken from factory. You get these things. If you buy it from a shop, I've got a Centacom near me, so it's pretty easy to just get new parts. That will be really easy to just replace. But what you want to do is you want to grab the RAM by its sides. You got the RAM by its sides. And then going down to the bottom slot, you just line it up to the slot on an angle. Push in like you would do with the M.2, and then push down, and these 2 little clips will click over onto it. And that's really it. If you wanted to plug in the other stick of RAM, this one's the broken one, you would, right here we've got our other memory module. And if you'll notice, it's a pretty long stick, but one end is a bit shorter than the other. And that goes the same for here. One end's a bit shorter than the other. This is just a good thing to keep in mind for memory. One end is always a bit shorter. So this end's a bit shorter, and that's so you don't plug it in the wrong way. So, yep, like I said, you get it up on an angle, stick it in, and then push it down. I'm not feeling too good, sorry guys. Now, we're not going to be keeping that stick in because it's completely useless. Basically, you just pull these both out at the same time. So there was two little clips there. You just got to pull both of those out at the same time. And then the RAM just comes out like a thing. So that's really actually all you had to do for one of these. If you've got two, populate both DIMMs. But since I've only got one, you populate the bottom DIMM, not the top DIMM. Yeah, that's really it. You want to grab back the panel. Stick it back on. They've got a thing... on yours, it should be new. They've got a little symbol called front. Mine rubbed off. And they've got a button that simulates the front. You just slot it right in. Sadly, there is no crunch on the NUCs, so there's no noise. I like that when building phones, but we don't have that here. And I'll just grab the other screw. You grab your screwdriver and you can just tighten these back up. Yeah, I got tea there. What are you going to do? Sue me for having tea? I love tea. So, in my meantime, I already installed Windows on that drive, so we can go boot it up. I haven't signed in, though, because I was going to leave that for the guy who's going to go pick it up soon. But that didn't seem to happen. So, yeah, we got this one here. Windows is booting. I'm just going to go into a quick, just to not sign in or anything. I'm surprised the fact that paying, I think this was about $900. I'm gonna put the actual price over the screen here because I don't have it on memory. For that price, at what this is coming from, I'm surprised Intel just didn't go ahead and just stick the RAM, memory, and Windows 10 on there for themselves already. The fact that Intel produce everything they make, I guess you've got the good idea of it being like, it's a PC, you know what you're putting in there. So, if you've got your own RAM in there, you can choose your speeds, you can choose all that. I guess it's giving you that essence of building a PC, but it really is just a mini PC. I don't really think it's a PC. From what I've heard, it's a good bang for the buck, though. It's pretty good. That's excluding RAM and memory, though. From also what I've heard when booting this, I was a bit confused as to why my RAM wasn't working. I didn't realize it was broken out of the box. And a lot of forums say that they've stopped using the NUC because it dies too often. And, you wouldn't really like something dying too often, so that's not fun. Okay, we got Windows here. Let's install Cinebench. Okay, so in theory, there should be nothing open. We're going to do a quick benchmark on this PC. A cool thing about the NUC here is as you can see, it was only one little cooler. So under stress tests, I have done a stress test. It overheated pretty well. It didn't really crash or anything. It was handling it pretty well, but it got very hot to touch, so just keep that in mind. Its cooling's not pristine, but it's completely silent if that's what you're looking for. Okay, we've got our specs here, and it's already looking pretty bad. It's missing the GPU. So if you didn't really realize, it's the GPU. It doesn't have one. So it's picking up. It's an Intel NUC. It couldn't run any of these tests, so you won't get a percentage on what it could do. That doesn't really matter. We had 13 gigabytes of 16 gigabytes free at 22.7 gigahertz. So that's our memory though. That's different for you. The processor, you know what? The processor has a good single-core score. I'm just going to read this off. The CPU can easily handle the majority of general computing tasks. Additionally, this processor can handle very light workstation and even some very light server workloads. Finally, with a gaming score of 69.9, nice, the CPU's suitability for 3D gaming is above average. So, the boot drive, which is our SSD, we've run a crucial, just no-name SSD. It obviously friggin' destroyed it. 16 gigabytes of RAM, that's ours. And the Windows 10 is the recent version. So, from what it seems, the Intel Core i7 6770HQ, which we've got in this thing, can perform around, has 60% in poor and about 78% in great. We put around 69.9%, which is another nice. And we're performing in the 50th percentile. So, out of all the people who use this, we're in the middle of 50. We're in the 50th people who use it. So it's got 4 cores and 8 threads. It base clocks at 2.6 GHz and has a turbo of 3.2 GHz. That's around average. We did pretty well. These are the points. And that's really the only thing we're testing here. And that's all that. Now we can run a Cinebench score. Now, I do have to say, Intel markets the NUC as a high quality gaming PC, which apparently can play most games. So, that I'm not really sure about. And my client actually came to me telling me, he asked if it was good specs, and I told him it's a NUC, it can't really, it's not as good. Hasn't got a GPU, it's running off the CPU. So, I just told him, yeah, it's a NUC, it's okay. From on paper, it looks good. If you're shopping by the numbers, this looks like a good buy. But if I was going to tell you, I wouldn't waste your money on it. It's, from what we're getting here, it's doing okay. I reckon it's going to get a mid-range score. But, it's just, I don't really feel like it's being great. Compared to what you could get for, like, a full ATX or a micro ATX case, which would be even better. Even micro ITX, which is still, like, maybe that big. You'll still get way more performance out of it. So, the NUC on my books is a bad purchase. You can listen to other people. I'm probably not the most qualified to talk about a NUC. But yeah, I reckon it's a bad purchase. So we'll just see what this score gets. Also, I can hear that cooler throttling up. We can open up a task manager real quick and see how much it's using. We are using 100% of the CPU. And this is clocking at laptop speeds, like, mostly any desktop processor can go a bit faster than that. Memory, that's our stuff that we put in there. The SSD isn't even being used, but I think it's just downloading Intel right now. Now, it has got the Intel Iris, which they call it the Pro Graphics. This is it's a CPU score, but it just doesn't look too good. The Wi-Fi, on the other hand, that's got an IP address in there. I probably shouldn't show that. The Wi-Fi adapter, on the other hand, the Intel, it's all Intel branded. Every 60 seconds, it's basically peaking at 100 kilobytes per second. Now, if you didn't know already, we're in Australia, and our Wi-Fi here is bad, so probably not a great comparison for Wi-Fi. But yeah, we're using 100% of the CPU at 13.91 gigahertz. 3.91 gigahertz. We're coming to an end. We got 4,177 points. That's actually not that good. We are under some mobile versions of the 11th gen. It's mostly Intel the whole way up, except the top, the third, and the first are AMDs. But yeah, that's not really what we're looking at. We got a score of 4,177. Now, I would say let's boot up some Rocket League, but there's no way Australian Wi-Fi is going to install that in time, so... well, that will be all for today's video, I guess, guys. We've done this here Intel based thing. The Skull Canyon, that's really it. I'll probably edit this up and you'll see it in the next 10 years. Good luck. If I post this, you're lucky. If I don't, well, you will never see this though, so. There will be Sazok. And, as always, what did I say? Stay human. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, bye.